aspirants, I welcome you all to daily newspaper analysis of Shankar IAS Academy. Today's date is 29th of March 2025. Displayed here are the list of articles that we are going to discuss today. In this first article, we will be discussing about the newly brought draft telecommunication bill, rules 2025. And in the second article, we will be discussing about a frog, a very rare species in South America. And in the third article, we will be discussing about Vikramashila University, which is a very ancient university. And in the fourth article, we will be discussing about GSAT 18 and Public Accounts Committee. So without any delay, let us get into the article discussion. Now look at this news article. Recently, our government has brought in the draft telecommunication standards, conformity assessment and certification rules 2025. So from the prelims perspective, we have to learn about what are all the key changes that has been brought in. So this particular topic, it can be asked in the prelims as well as mains. In prelims, it can be asked under Indian polity and governance, and GS paper 3 in mains, it will be asked under IT, space and computers. So we shall start with what are all the key changes. So it actually revises and streamlines the framework for standardization and certification of telecommunication equipments. So this particular rules has been brought in to standardize, bringing a standard rules and regulations for and certification for the use of any kind of telecommunication equipments. So it is notified under Section 19 of Telecommunication Act 2023. Remember this. Moving on, we shall see about the difference between the existing and new framework. So currently, these equipments and their handling, it is actually governed by Telegraph Amendment Rules 2017, but it has been replaced. It will be replaced by Draft Rules 2025. And the existing standards, specifications and conformity assessment remains valid. Now moving on, we shall see about the key provisions of the draft rules. Firstly, strict compliance requirement has been brought in for the stakeholders as well as operators. And there are two important regulatory authority. Firstly, Telecommunication Engineering Center. Secondly, National Center for Communication Center, in short called as NCCS. Combinedly, they will be looking into the functions of reviewing rules, standards and conformity measures, and they will be setting guidelines for labs to become conformity assessment bodies. So these conformity assessment bodies, they will assess the standard, whether the particular equipment meets the standard that has been framed by the rules or not. So moving on, we shall see about the complaints and exception. So the conformity certificate must be prominently displayed by the operator for sure, and there are certain exceptions which includes research and development and demonstration, testing and personal use. It is subjected to legal requirement. So if you are using the equipment for your personal use or for demonstration or for testing, then you are not under this particular rules, except that for any other application of the telecommunication devices, you have to get this particular certification. Now moving on, we shall see about the penalties. So if you are not complying, you will be subjected under fines. There will be seizure and the disruption of compliant equipments, as well as a dedicated digital portal for compliance tracking, updates and submission will be there. Now moving on, we shall see about the applicability. So the applicability will be applied on original equipment manufacturers, authorized Indian representatives, importers, distributors, sellers, as well as licensors and users. So for all of them, this particular rules will be applicable, and it will strengthen India's telecommunication security, standardization and compliance oversight, and it will safeguard nation's telecommunication network from security vulnerabilities. This is a very important thing. Currently, we could see a lot of breaches of data, particularly due to this telecommunication devices, and that is why this particular rules has been brought in with all considering all the drawbacks. Now, based on the article that we have discussed, I have framed a question for you. What is the main purpose of the draft rules? So here it is specifically talking about the telecommunication draft rules of 2025. The correct answer is to strengthen India's telecommunication infrastructure, security and compliance oversight. Now look at this article. As the title itself hints, this article talks about a frog species. After 120 years, it has reappeared and this rare species has resurfaced in South America. So from prelims perspective, we have to learn about the characteristics of these frog species, because commonly in the UPSC current pattern, if you're seeing, there are a lot of questions that arises from general characteristics of a particular animal or a particular species. For example, they asked about marsupials, they asked about squirrels, they asked about elephants. So likewise, these questions might be asked. So one of such topic is this, and that is why we have chosen this article. From the exam perspective, this syllabus, when you are taking under prelims, it comes under biodiversity, ecology and conservation, and under mains GS paper 3, relevant topic includes environment and conservation. Now we shall start with the species overview. So the scientific name is given here, it is not that important, but remember it is a frog species, and a very common name is Melicospinzi chest frog. So it was first discovered by Rudolph, and it is endemic to Chile, South America. Now moving on, we shall see about the habitat and appearance. It is isolated mountain streams. It is found in isolated mountain streams in Chile. And when we talk about the appearance, adult males, they will be having light brown with yellow or green hose to olive brown. And when we talk about the juveniles, that is the smaller one or the younger one, they have darker brown skin tone, and they have distinctly yellowish stripes on the back, which varies in prominence. So these are all the very basic appearance characteristics. Talking about the genetic and conservation insights, so genetically they are closely related to a frog species found in Argentina. And talking about their conservation category, they have been downgraded from critically endangered to endangered, which means a lot of conservation is required for this particular species. Now moving on, we shall see about the threats for their survival. Firstly, deforestation. So due to deforestation, their natural habitat has been lost. Secondly, expansion of the livestock grazing. So what happens during livestock grazing is the spreading of forest itself will diminish, because these livestock, they only feed on the crops that are accessible to their height. So this leads to habitat destruction without even knowing. Thirdly, invasive species. A lot of invasive species that has been newly introduced to the environment poses a threat to the natural habitat for the species. So this leads to increase in predator on tadpoles. So the population of this particular frogs is automatically controlled. And finally, climate change, temperature variation affecting the breeds as well as survival. A very good example for temperature affecting breeding is, you can take olive ridley turtles. So they will be they will be burying a very big, they will be digging a very big hole, and they will be burying their eggs under the hole. So based on the temperature surrounding that hole, only the sex of that particular egg will be determined. So likewise, this particular species survival is also based on temperature, and their breeding is also based on temperature. Now moving on, we can see about the conservation measures that has been taken. Firstly, for protecting the habitat, a lot of legal safeguards should be brought in, particularly in that country. And we have to bring in a lot of control over invasive species, and for that we have to manage introducing a taunt population. And thirdly, we have to bring in a lot of climate adaptation strategies. So this will help in conservation breeding and habitat restoration as well. And finally, we have to bring in global collaboration. This can be done by initiating research and funding for amphibian conservation. So because these amphibian conservation is the least concern when it comes to the species control or conservation. So we have to give a more focus with collaboration. So based on the topic discussed, I have just framed a question for you. Here the correct answer for the particular question is option D, all the above. Now look at this article. This article talks about Vikramashila University. Now currently it is in news because after a decade of restoring a very important ancient university in Rajgir, which is named as Nalanda University, currently this Vikramashila University is also getting a glow. So that is why it has made news. From the prelims perspective, knowing about the exact location, who established it, and what led to its ruin is very important. So we shall see that in this news article discussion. Before that, we have to see about the syllabus of this article. So from the prelims perspective, it will be asked under history. From the mains perspective, it will be asked under art and culture. So here there are certain ancient universities that you have to remember. Remember the map. So it will be easier for you to recall during the examination. So here you can see the exact location of Vikramashila. So apart from Vikramashila, Takshila, we have Amravati, Kanchi and Madura are some of other important ancient universities of India. Now we shall see about specifically about this Vikramashila. So it is located in Bhagalpur, which is in Bihar on the banks of Ganges. This is a very important thing. So most of the preliminary questions will be asked like whether a particular thing is, whether a particular place or location is near a river bank or not. So make note of this particular information. It is actually founded by King Dharmapala, belonging to Pala dynasty in 8th to 9th century AD. So the architecture, it features a circum brick stupa with 208 monk cells around it. So it is basically a university that helps people to understand about the Buddhist culture. So it will be like a very big brick structure under which there will be different compartments until 208 cells. So under these 208 cells, monks can be stay there. They can learn about the culture of Buddhists. They can even practice there. So this is how the place is very significant. So here specialized in tantric Buddhism, Tantrayana, and thought, theology, philosophy, grammar, metaphysics and logics. There are very important notable scholars that you have to remember. First is Atisha Dipankara. He is the key to Buddhist spread in Tibet. And there are peak strength is 160 teachers, 1000 students from India, Kashmir, Java, Nepal and Tibet. So it has a tie-up with Nalanda University as well. So it shares teachers who are called as acharyas, and they exchange knowledge as well. So there are certain downfalls after a particular decade. This is because Muhammad bin Bakhtiar Khalji, he destroyed it in 1203 AD. And the revival effect, currently ASI, the Archaeological Survey of India, they have been developing the site since December 2023 to boost tourism in the place. So these are all very important facts that you have to remember about Vikramashila. I have concised the topic because here, all the points given here are very, very important, and it is a potential preliminary question. So since it has been rejuvenated and it is in use, it can be asked in preliminary question as well. So based on the topic that we have discussed, I have a framed prelims question for you. Let me read out the question. Consider the following statements regarding Vikramashila University. Here 3 statements are given. First statement says, it was established by King Dharmapala of Pala dynasty. It is true. It is specialized in Tantric Buddhism, Tantrayana. True. The university was destroyed by Alauddin Khilji. So here comes the doubt. It is not destroyed by Alauddin Khilji. Instead, it was destroyed by Muhammad bin Bakhtiar Khalji. So here the correct answer for the particular question is option A, 1 and 2 only. Now look at this news article. This news article talks about GSAT 18. Now currently GSAT 18 is in news because Public Accounts Committee has asked government to reduce the avoidable expenses when it comes to this particular satellite. So from the prelims perspective, we have to learn about 2 different things. Firstly, the GSAT 18, and secondly, we have to know about Public Accounts Committee. So without any delay, let us get into the syllabus under which this particular topic can be asked. So it can be asked even under GS paper 2, and in GS paper 3, awareness in fields of IT space. Particularly under this space, this particular topic can be asked. Now we shall see about GSAT 18. It is nothing but a high powered communication satellite. So it has 6 extended C-band transmitter, which is for use in 2027. And the very important purpose of this particular satellite is to support telecommunication, then TV, DSNG and VSAT services. This will ensure continuity in C-band, extended C-band and KU band services. Now looking at the key details, so it has the launch weight of 3404 kilogram. Mission life is 15 years, and the power is powered by a solar array, as well as there is 2 lithium ion batteries. And it is a type, when we talk about the type, it is communication satellite, as I said earlier, and it is manufactured by ISRO indigenously. And the orbit under which this particular satellite surrounds is geosynchronous orbit. So what is this geosynchronous orbit is? Nothing but it syncs with the rotation of the Earth. So if Earth is taking 23 hours and a few minutes, so this satellite will align with that time taken by the Earth to rotate itself. Now we shall see about the Public Accounts Committee. It is most important parliamentary committee. I am telling this because it is responsible for examining the government's expenditure to ensure accountability and transparency, and that is why it is a very important parliamentary committee. So it brings in checks and balances. Let me tell you how. Before that, we shall see about the key establishment. It was established in 1921 under the Government of India Act 1919. Remember this. It has composition of 22 members, 15 from Lok Sabha and 7 from Rajya Sabha. And it is the members are appointed. They are actually elected annually by Parliament through proportional representation, and the chairman will be appointing the elected members by Speaker of Lok Sabha. The chairperson is traditionally appointed from the opposition to bring in the checks and balances. So you can use these points in your mains answer as well to show that how Indian democracy has aligned itself based on checks and balances. Now moving on, we shall see about the functions of it. Firstly, examining the CAG's report. See, CAG's report, it is prepared by Controller and Auditor General, and he will be providing both the data about the central expenses as well as the state expenses, and he will be submitting it to President. President will be placing it in front of the Parliament. So when it is placed in front of the Parliament, this Public Accounts Committee, they will take care of scrutinizing this particular report, and they will provide directions on how to regularize or how to minimize the expenditure, unwanted expenditure, so that the minimal resource that is available can be used in useful ways. So it will be identifying the instances of wasteful spending, irregularities or financial mismanagement, and it will help scrutinize expenditures to ensure they align with Parliament's approval, and they will ensure accountability of public funds by ministries and government departments. So this is a very important thing that you have to remember. Now moving on, based on the based on the topic we have discussed, I have framed a question for you. Which of the following is not a function of PAC? So here the correct answer for the particular question is option C, investigating cases of corruption independently. So with this, we came to the end of the news article discussion. If you like the video, hit like, do comment, and don't forget to subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy YouTube channel. Now thank you so much for listening.